from Peace in Piermont. Welcome. It has now been a complete week of our wellness accountability sessions. In case this is your first time joining us, the intention of these sessions is to promote wellness, to promote self-care, to foster self-love, presence, and to practice meditation together, independently, as a community. Tonight, I want to dive right in. I'm going to keep tonight's session short and sweet. I want to just talk briefly about codependency. So codependency is when we can rely on another person, substance, or situation. Sorry, I lost my place. I wanted to read this. Okay. So we can rely on another person, process, or substance to determine our thinking, our choices, our behavior. Many of us, at some point in our lives, I was just reading over some research, 90% of us have some codependency issues at one point or another in our lives, so I feel like it's relevant to all of us. It's just pretty much a time when we can place our own needs lower on the totem pole than those around us. We prioritize other people before ourselves, and I think it can be really easy to do this, especially as a parent, or just if you grew up in a certain household where your opinion maybe wasn't validated or your feelings weren't validated, then it can be easy to fall into habits of codependency. So this is one of my favorite books. It's by Melody Beattie, and she wrote Codependent No More, which is a wonderful book if you haven't heard of it or read it yourself. This book is called The Language of Letting Go, and it's daily meditations on codependency. And she helps us, I'm just going to read the back, she helps us stay focused on the fundamentals of codependent recovery, letting ourselves feel all of our emotions, accepting powerlessness, and owning our own power. And I'm going to read tonight's passage because it seems relevant. Letting the cycles flow. Life is cyclical, not static. Our relationships benefit when we allow them to follow their own natural cycles. Like the tide ebbs and flows, so do the cycles in relationships. We have periods of closeness and periods of distance. We have times of coming together and times of separating to work on individual issues. We have times of joy and love and times of anger. Sometimes the dimensions of relationships change as we go through changes. Sometimes life brings us new friends or a new loved one to teach us the next lesson. That does not mean the old friend disappears forever. It means we have entered a new cycle. We do not have control over the course of our relationships, whether these be friendships or love relationships. We do not have to satisfy our need to control by imposing a static form on relationships. Let it flow. Be open to cycles. Love will not disappear. The bond between friends will not sever. Things do not remain the same forever, especially when we are growing and changing at a rapid pace. Trust the flow. Take care of yourself, but be willing to let go. Hanging on to them too tightly will make them disappear. The old adage about love still holds true. If it's meant to be, it will be. And if you love someone, let them go. If they come back to you, the love is yours. Today, I accept the cyclical nature of life and relationships. I will strive to go with the flow. I will strive for harmony with my own needs and the needs of the other person. And I think that this reading is especially relevant with everything going on in the pandemic, whether it's with whoever you're living with or just friends. Sometimes certain friends, it's really hard to stay in contact with them all the time, especially if you're both processing a situation very differently. It can be really hard if you're trying to stay upbeat. You're struggling to hear a friend who's struggling. It kind of like drags you down if you're trying to work up, and vice versa. So I think that it's helpful to keep in mind that even if you're going through a period where you're maybe taking a break from a friend or just giving each other space, just think of them. When you think of them, send them love. And just remind yourself that nothing is really forever. It could just be growing pain for both of you, and then you reconnect and pick up right where you left off. Okay, so we'll dive right into meditation. Just a brief recap: we meditate to give our brains a bath, to get rid of any thoughts that aren't serving our greatest good, to connect to the core of who we are, and to just feel calm, to establish a clear state of mind. I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes. I'm going to meditate in a chair. You can meditate on the floor, in your bed, on a couch, wherever you like. You can sit with your legs crossed or on your heels with bent knees. You can decide to pick something to stare at that's not distracting or moving, or you can close your eyes altogether if that's comfortable for you. I'm going to start my timer for 5 minutes. We'll welcome a nice deep breath in. And let's begin. hope you all enjoyed that meditation and the reading tonight. Just a reminder, if you have anything going on that you'd like some direction with, or if there's anything related to self-care, wellness, yoga, meditation, anything at all, if I can be of any help, you can always leave something in the comments or send me a direct message or email me, katie@peaceandpuremont.com, and I'm happy to address whatever comes up in the next session tomorrow. So thank you so much for joining. Have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow.